Nebraska farmers are feeling the pinch, caught in the middle of that trade war, but diversifying may offer opportunities to lessen some risk. Here's more from Cow-Calf College.
I had a rancher.
Class is in session at Cow-Calf College, and while talk about reproductive efficiency may be a little over the head of even some veteran cattlemen, ranchers are looking for ways to be profitable. For some, it's about finding a niche in different segments of the industry,
which can really add some flexibility to operations and decrease or rather manage your risk.
Experts say cow-calf producers are making money or at least breaking even, but those who are leasing land to graze face challenges.
We have some of the most expensive grass in the country, and it got very high when beef prices were high, but like everything, it's hard to get it moved down when beef prices go down.
Some crop farmers may be adding cattle to diversify.
Diversification in different entities has a huge impact on our producers' bottom lines.
Even if farmers don't own cattle, they can benefit through grazing cattle on their farm grounds.
Partner with other ranchers to help decrease their production costs, but also bring in some additional revenue.
Cherry, Custer, Holt, and Lincoln counties are among the top cow-calf areas in all the country. Nebraska also has many counties with a good balance between crops and cattle, and with farmers planting cover crops that can be grazed and adding livestock to a crop farm, it can have long-lasting impacts.
We talk about bringing family members back or trying to figure out what to do, whether that's a 40-year-old farm member or family member or an 18-year-old.
This event is traditionally held at the U.S. Meat Animal Research Center. However, because of the government shutdown, it had to be moved here to the Clay County Fairgrounds. Steve White, NTV News, Clay Center. Here in Nebraska, how fortunate are we to have the University of Nebraska? Who else is doing research along these lines as well as what we're doing here in Nebraska?
There's no place like Nebraska. They have more resources devoted to the beef industry than any other place in the world. There's nobody with extension and research support devoted to the #1 industry in this state. So the university recognizes obviously the importance of the beef industry, and to have people out state that are serving the people of Nebraska, which is the land grant mission.
Is this a good time to own cows right now? What do you think of the environment for beef production in Nebraska right now?
Well, I think the cow-calf producers still making money or breaking even anyway. So it's hard to get in and out of the industry, especially with the huge capital resources that are important or needed for beef production and land grass and both cropland.
Now, you talked specifically today, it was on the reproductive side and pregnancy rates and some of those things, and there's a lot of factors and it's over my head, but what are maybe some of the key takeaways that you want a guy to take from a talk like you've been giving here?
Just that the #1 trait in all of beef production is reproduction. We have to have a live calf born every year. And then I talked a lot about management factors that influence when those animals conceive during the breeding season. Can have a huge impact on a fixed set of resources of when pregnancy occurs.
So if they're the one, I guess, giving birth early on in the season, that's one you want to hang on to. That's you got to keep her there.
Yeah, it's age and weight are highly correlated, and that's so whenever you sell the calf, or even if you feed it, those older animals will be more profitable.
And those are the kind of decisions maybe some guys overlook, or do you think that's something that some people just they're not keeping track of, maybe necessarily as good as they could? And
yeah, definitely. I think people turn bulls out and pull them at a certain date every year, and don't look at what the calving distribution is and how might I improve it to earlier. I'm not advocating calving in January versus June, but wherever fits your operation to calve, you need to focus on having a high percent of animals pregnant early in your breeding season.
You also got touched on, I think you kind of called it the elephant in the room, but when I go to some of these beef events, they're talking about the production we're gaining and all this and that. But is there a flip side to that? Give me what's the other side of things maybe we don't always talk about?
Well, yeah, we're very driven, focused on production output as an industry, and a lot of the Meat Animal Research Center genetic trends over time show dramatic increases or changes over time, which has effectively made the major 7 breeds to the same point, including British and Continentals, to the same yearling weight EPDs, with Angus having a tremendous growth over time. Well, those animals, as we select for more output with size and milk, are going to require more input, and we just need to make sure that we have the wherewithal to increase resources, or reproduction is going to be the first thing to fail.
Boy, it's been a tough winter with all of the snow and ice storms we've had. We'll take a look at our grow forecast up next, and later some local kids taste the fruits of their labor.